All right, welcome everybody to a Saturday afternoon edition to the Build Your Workshop live training. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to get this party started. This is going to be a fun, action-packed 60 minutes. For those of you who are here, let me know, are you trying to build your first workshop or are you trying to get better at your next workshop? If it's going to be your first workshop, just drop a 1 in the chat. If you're trying to get better at your next workshop, just say next in the chat. So either 1 or next. All right, awesome. Nice, good mix there. Seems like 50-50 actually, which is super cool. And then most important question here is why? Why workshops? What is the appeal? If you've been doing them, why do you like them? If you're trying to set up your first one, why do you want to set it up? What is the thing that makes you attracted to doing workshops? Love teaching, love teaching. Nice. Love connecting, mass healing. Super cool. Great answers. Love teaching and connecting people everywhere. Love connecting. All right. So that seems to be the most common. I like teaching at a group level, better connection and so human connection, giving value. Awesome. Yeah, that's typically for me too. I love the teaching part of doing business. I don't particularly like the marketing and sales part. In fact, if you go to my Instagram profile right now, you will see that my last post was July 16th. And I know the date because it was my wedding anniversary. And I just made a post to say happy anniversary to my wife. And that's been the last piece of content that I've posted in the last month, or almost about 30 days, because I just don't enjoy that part. I really do enjoy this connecting, having people on where we can just learn some stuff and have some fun. And for most coaches that I work with, it's the same thing. Like you want a better, more effective way of getting clients. So to make sure that we're all on the same page, if you're here because you want a more aligned, more predictable, more consistent way of getting dream clients, just say yes in the chat and I will pull up my slides. Awesome. Okay, beautiful. All right, then you guys are all in the right place. So let me share my screen here. And we'll go into slideshow mode. And that's what we're covering. This is the workshop install system, how coaches are booking 15 to 25 high intent sales calls in 30 days with one 90-minute workshop without posting daily, without DMing strangers, without needing a sales team. And right now, as you're here watching this, there are hundreds of coaches out there, even thousands of coaches out there that are no smarter than you, that are no better at coaching than you, who have no more experience than you, closing 3 to 8 or more new dream clients every single week, which is exactly what you just said. The reason why you're here is because you want a more aligned, more predictable, more sustainable way of getting dream clients every single week and every single month. They don't have to send DMs and they don't have to post. Like I mentioned for myself, I haven't made a post in about a month and my business hasn't stopped growing. And you get the best clients week after week. So it's not really what most people would assume about them. When you think about the coaches who are doing this, it's easy to just say like, oh, they have a huge following. They have more money to spend on ads. They're posting so much more than I'm willing to post. And it's not any of those things. The thing that they have in common is that they run a workshop every single month. That's it. Simple, because simple scales. And that's something that's repeatable that you actually enjoy doing. Everybody on here said that they're wanting to run workshops or already running workshops because they love teaching and they love connecting and you want a better way of getting clients. So that's the thing. Like that's the one thing. Now there's one additional thing that I'm going to leave out for now because it only makes sense once you see how the workshop process actually works. But if you remind me at the end, I'll come back to it. So the one thing that we know that those coaches have in common is that they're doing one workshop per month. There's a second thing that they have in common that I'm going to skip for now. Once you see how the process works, we'll close the loop on that and it will all make perfect sense at the end. It's like my client Jillian, who went from DMing nonstop to closing 150K on a single workshop just by teaching what she's passionate about. Like a lot of you who are here, it seems like there's a lot of coaches in the functional space. Functional coaches, just very transparently, get incredible results with workshops. We've done this in so many different niches now, dozens of different niches, dozens of different coaches. It works really well if you know who you serve and you know what you help them with, like you know what problems you solve. But functional coaches tend to do incredibly well. Jillian is a functional coach. She helps get to the root cause of weight loss resistance and particularly has her kind of niche in helping with Hashimoto's and bloating slash gut health issues. So you can see her numbers having 2,100 people registered. Now, this is after doing the workshops several times. So we were able to build up her ad spend. I don't recommend coming right out of the gates and spending 6,000 on ads until you've proven that it's going to convert at a high level. But at this point in time, we knew that she was going to convert based off of her previous workshops, and she was able to do 150K in revenue just by teaching what she's already passionate about. Which, if you stay till the end, I will show you her exact winning workshop, the landing page, the ad strategy, everything that we use to make that happen. I'm going to show it to you. Now, the only reason that you're probably not doing it yourself right now is because either you don't think you can do it, or you are doing it, but you want to optimize it, or because you don't know how to do it. So for those of you who are trying to set up your first workshop, it might be one of those two things. If you're trying to get better, then you maybe don't know how to optimize, or you don't know what pieces to optimize. And that's what we're going to cover. This is the Build Your Workshop Live. I'm going to show you in our time together how you can do it very simply, how you can install a 3 to 8 client generating workshop so you can start teaching instead of pitching, and still day after day, week after week, and month after month, get as many clients as you want. And I don't say that just to say it. I genuinely mean that, because some people are going to have different goals. Like some businesses don't want to scale to 100K a month or 200K a month or beyond. And there's no judgment here. If you just want 3 to 5 easy, good dream clients every single month, amazing. Or if you want to go to 50K a month, 100K a month, or 250K a month with your workshops, that's totally viable as well. Either way, it's on the table. You just have to follow the system. You can make what you want of it. You can say, I only want 3 new clients a month. I only want 10 new clients a month, or I want 50 new clients a month. And you can get there with the exact same system. It's just going to be how far you want to scale it. And that's why coaches love this. It's the same process. That nothing really changes. We're just talking about more volume, the same thing, more volume, higher numbers. So it doesn't matter what niche you're in. Like I said, fitness, nutrition, mind and performance, business, marketing, content, practitioners, money, commerce, book writing. Like we've done this in just about every niche. I haven't come across somebody who is a coach in a niche that we haven't done this successfully with. And so really I could have filled up this entire screen with probably 100 more subcategories, but to save space and time, we'll just leave it at that it works. As long as you know what you offer, you know what problems you solve, you know how you help people, you'll be just fine. So this will work for you too. Just follow what I'm about to show you, take notes. And again, this is not going to be a monologue type masterclass. I'm going to do this in 60 minutes, hopefully. Sometimes when I just, I start going, I tend to maybe like tell too many stories, or I'm passionate about this. So sometimes I might go on a tangent or two, but I will try to keep this to 60 minutes. You're going to leave with your own workshop mapped out, ready to build. No, you're going to know how to launch. You're going to know what to talk about. You're going to know exactly how it all works from start to finish. And then you're not going to need to post every day in order to stay top of mind. You're not going to need to DM strangers in order to book calls. You're not going to need to chase people who say, let me think about it, in order to close. And you're not going to need to start from zero every single month, which is probably the thing that used to frustrate me the most with my own. I had a nutrition coaching business as of about 2 months ago. I actually started that business back in 2018. I recently sold it about 2 months ago. So I've been in the trenches doing nutrition coaching and also business coaching for a long time, and have had both. And now I just have this. But I used to get super frustrated having to start from zero every single month and thinking, how am I going to make it work again? And then again, if you stick till the end, not only are you going to get all of that, but you're also going to have a chance for the hot seats, where we map out your strategy together on this very call. So we're going to flesh out your workshop idea, the content, how to make the offer. So this could be the best time and attention investment, which is 2 valuable resources, by the way. When you think about things that you spend, it's not just money. You're spending time, you're spending attention. This could be the best use of your time and attention that you make this weekend or this week or even this month. So here's what we're going to cover: why posting and DMing is getting so hard in 2026 and what coaches are doing instead to get 3 to 8 or more quality monthly clients, the trust building teaching framework that combats the trust recession that we're currently in and allows you to not have to post to get clients, and then how to implement this in as little time as possible so you can get your first clients this month so that by next month you're laughing at the whole posting and DMing strategies. And hundreds of coaches have done this too, like Cassie, who collected 13,800 from one masterclass, like Heidi, who put nearly 600 people in the room, and like my coach Thomas here, who was able to get 25 new clients. He had 46 calls booked, 40 people showed up to the calls, and he converted 25 new clients from one workshop. That was actually his first workshop. Pretty cool. Now, before we get into it, I do have a disclaimer so we can stay focused here. I like to be very straight and to the point. I'm a direct person. Some people like that, some people not so much, but it's just my personality. I don't like to beat around the bush with things. So we're going to divide this into two clear sections. Section 1, the first part where we teach, we do the education, we do the hot seats. It will be awesome. You're going to love it. And then second part where I do make an offer for those who want my personal help implementing all of this. And I just like to be clear that there is a divide, and I just want to be focused on providing value and teaching, and I don't want anything in the back of my mind that's diluting that. So I will tell you specifically when we go from the teaching education part to the offer part, and you can decide for yourself if you want to stick around for that, which you don't have to, and I will not be offended whatsoever. So if you're like, I only want to stick around for the teaching part and I want to bail once the offer happens, cool, jump off, no worries. Does that sound fair? Let me know in the chat, just drop a yes in the chat if that is fair and we're on the same page with that. Fair? Okay. Amazing. Awesome. Good to hear. Let's go for it. All right, so imagine one installed 90-minute workshop, and you get your whole calendar booked with high-intent calls. Every other client problem disappears, and this call exists to prove that one sentence. Now, quick pop quiz so I can see where you're at, and I can help you even more. Let's see what you really know. I'm going to ask for some participation here in the chat. True or false? You need a big audience to fill a workshop. You got to have a big audience, got to have a big following if you want to fill a workshop. What do you think? True or false? False. All right. Everybody seems to be on the same page. Let's see if you are correct. You are correct. False. You do need ads, by the way, if you don't have an audience. But actually, my preference is we fill it with ads and not necessarily. I've had people who are like, oh, I've got hundreds of thousands of followers, so this is going to be easy for me. And they don't necessarily always have the right followers. So I prefer with ads that we can target the right people who we know are going to be a good fit. And you don't need that much in terms of a budget, $25 to $50 a day in ad spend, roughly about 10 days. So you can do the math on that, about $500 in total. And you can predictably get between 50 to 200 people registered routinely. I have done this with coaches who had less than 200 followers on Instagram and still were able to put hundreds of people registered for their workshop and a bunch of people showing up live for the workshop and converting a ton of new clients with no big audience whatsoever. Like my client Heidi, I think when she ran her first workshop with me, she was at about 1,400 followers on Instagram, and she had about 600 people register and got a ton of calls booked and a ton of new clients. And now she does this every single month as her main client acquisition system. True or false? You need to be a great presenter to convert on a workshop. You need to be a great presenter, true or false, to convert on a workshop. What do you think? Yeah, we got some true, some false, mostly false. A little disagreement here. Let's see. False. Now, it does help. I will not say, like, I am a very introverted person. I still enjoy this part of it, but like if you were to meet me in person, if I were in a big group setting, I'm very quiet. I'm shy. I keep to myself. But because I have a structure that I can follow when it comes to like this type of stuff, then it's so much easier for me to teach and to educate and to be kind of on. So you don't have to have a like dynamic, extroverted personality. It's great if you do. It doesn't matter about your charisma as long as you follow a structure, a framework. And I think that's the most important thing. And that's what makes this so installable is just following a framework. And if you can follow the framework and you teach what you already know and what you're passionate about, the system, the framework kind of handles the rest, not your charisma. This was my client Lexi, which I'm using as an example because she is very critical of herself and the way that she presents. And she just gets like 20 calls booked every time she does a workshop and gets a huge take rate. And I try to tell her all the time, like, you're being a little bit too hard on yourself. You're killing it, first of all. So it doesn't even matter if you think that you don't have the dynamic personality. Clearly, it doesn't even matter because she still produces results like this every single time. True or false, running paid ads to a workshop is risky. This one might be a tough one. Running paid ads to a workshop is risky. What do you think? False, false, yes. So we got a little disagreement. It depends. Yes, if you don't know what you're doing, it can be risky because you are putting out money with you don't know if you're going to get it back. So, sure, in that case, it might be risky. If you're doing ads without a proper structure, you don't know how to target, and there's no predictability to it, then absolutely it can be risky. But if you know how to make the math work, it is one of the most predictable things where you can almost to a T guess how much you're going to get out of your ad spend, meaning what's your return on ad spend going to be. And I'm going to show you how to make the math work predictably so that way you don't have to go the risky path and you can go the predictable path where we drive the ads to a workshop. We get $2 to $15 per registration. We get 10 to 25% close rate to high ticket or whatever offer you're pushing at the end, where the workshop does the trust building and the ads just put the right people in the room. And that's an important distinction to make. It's not just putting bodies in the room, it's putting the right people in the room. And if you know how to do that, the math just maths. It's very predictable and very profitable. Like this, where you get $675 in and you get 10K out, 5K in cash collected, and another 5K in contracted, just on $675 in ad spend. And then you'll have the same response that my client here had, which is, this is insane. I need more workshops. Should we up the budget? Which, if I said, you can put in $600 to Meta and Meta pays you back $10,000, your logical reaction would go, how much more can I push it to get that same return on ad spend, which is what most of my clients ask. And that's the power of a workshop. You teach, you get paid, you teach once, you sell all month, because it's not just the leads that show up live. It's not just the leads that watch the replay, but you've also built up more leads that have opted in that you can then continue to market to, that will come in. We're seeing situations now where I have clients who are, running different campaigns and different ad strategies, and we can track back where those leads came from. And some of the signups like joined a workshop back in like November or October. And now here we are in August, and they're still seeing the benefits from those previous workshops. It just keeps compounding over time. So let me ask you a question. Sorry, clicked the wrong way. How long have you been trying to crack client acquisition? Because I mentioned I had a nutrition coaching business, and the biggest thing for me was having a predictable way of getting new clients. That was always my biggest sticking point. I had periods where we had amazing months, and then like the revenue roller coaster, maybe you can relate to that, where some months it was like, oh my God, we're doing amazing. And then the next month it was like, I didn't get any clients. Like, how are we going to do this? And that kind of up and down was really frustrating. So for you, no judgment here, just curious, how long has it been? Has it been a year? Has it been months? Has it been several years? How long have you been trying to find the client acquisition strategy that feels the best for you, is the most predictable and consistent? 13 months, 2 to 3 years, 3 years, too long, forever, 2 years, 12 years, 6 years, months, years, 4 years. Okay, so for most of you, it seems like it's kind of multiple years. Some of you, it's multiple months, but that seems to be the consensus. So this was always my experience. Again, if you can relate to this, let me know. But you put in a lot of work that week. You open up your Stripe account, and the number that you're looking at doesn't reflect the amount of time and effort that you put in on your business. Or you get really excited because you did get somebody to book a call with you, and then they go quiet, they ghost, they need to think about it. And you start wondering, maybe it's me, maybe I'm the problem, because you've tried different strategies and nothing has really stuck. It's like, maybe it's me, I'm the common denominator, it must be my fault. Well, that is not the case. Trust me on that. Not all of our thoughts are truth, and thinking that it's your fault that you haven't cracked the client acquisition code yet, thinking that it's a you problem, is a little bit misguided. Because the problem typically happens before the call, and it happens oftentimes with some of the traditional stuff that we're taught about, at least for me, what I was taught about how to make sales and how to market, getting people on a call before they're ready, getting as many people as possible on a discovery call. And they don't trust you yet. They don't know you yet. And no amount of better sales technique or scripting or objection handling is going to fix a trust problem. And that's what we're going to fix. We're going to fix that client acquisition problem, and we're going to fix that trust problem. So I'm going to show you how one coach was able to go from 40 cold DMs a day with zero traction to 40 inbound calls booked in 10 days. We're going to go through the exact system, every part that over 100 coaches have used to fill their calendars with high intent calls. You're going to leave with the workshop title, structure, and offer, how to map that out. And you're going to know exactly what to do and how to launch it. And then at the end, like I said, I'm going to show you how my team can install every piece of this for you and exactly what that costs if you want to stick around for that. So this is for you if you have a real offer and you can teach what you know for 90 minutes and you have the ability to put $25 to $50 a day for about 10 days in ad spend, and you want inbound calls and not the DM grind. This is not for you if you don't have an offer and you don't know who you help. So if you're still trying to figure out your niche, if you're still trying to figure out who you help and what that offer is going to look like, or if you just want passive income without showing up and you don't want to run a business based off of simple math, then this is not for you and you won't get much out of this. So hopefully that's clear. So these are the actual numbers. This is not theory. This is the morning of. Spend 500 in ads over 10 days. 220 people registered. 63 people showed up live. $500 in, $19K out. You talked about what you knew for 90 minutes. You made an offer. 7 days later, you had 21 calls booked and $19K in new revenue. This is an example from one of my clients, Ben, who's also actually in the functional space, but for men. Just type math if you want that type of predictable math in your business. If you would love to put $500 in ads and get 19,000 out, type math in the chat if that's the type of predictability that you're looking for with client acquisition. Okay, amazing. Yeah. I like running my business based off of numbers and math. If you're more of like logic brain, like I tend to be, then I'm sure you're on the same page here. Let me tell you about my client, Sujal. 12 months ago, she's helps vegetarians with blood sugar issues. Great niche, great coach. But about 12 months ago, she was doing the DM game every single morning, 40 DMs per day, 6 months in, no calls booked. Revenue was trending towards zero, was about to quit coaching, which would have been really unfortunate because she's an amazing coach and an amazing person. And she came to me, we installed this system. She had 275 people registered, got 40 calls booked, had her calendar booked out for 3 weeks straight. She didn't change as a coach. Her offer didn't change. Her audience didn't change. The only thing that changed was the system, the way that she was going about client acquisition. That's it. And she's not alone. 19x return on ad spend. My client, Ben, I told you about Sujal. Matt did 19x return on ad spend on his workshop. Cassie was getting 250 per lead and then got 15x on her second workshop. My client, Lexi, who closed every call that she had on her workshop. And then one of my favorite stories, Kristen, who was able to scale when she started working with me. She was doing 15K a month, used this exact system to build up to 250K a month, just with this workshop process every single month. Now, that took over a year. So I'm not going to tell you that she went from 15K a month to 250K a month in like 2 months or 3 months. It took over a year, but it was the same process that compounded every month. And she just got better and better at doing it until she hit that 250K a month run rate. And it's coaches like this, like my client Jillian, who I told you is a Hashimoto's coach, who's been able to do over 6 figures in multiple workshops. Jesse, who's a real estate coach who did 35K across 3 workshops, or my client Donna Marie, who does book publishing, who did 30K and just under 1K in ad spend for a huge return on ad spend. Now, for me, I didn't start teaching this. I didn't start doing this. I actually was a personal trainer about 12, 13 years ago, moved online, was charging $75 a month. I built my one-on-one nutrition coaching business in 2018 by saying yes to everybody. If you guys, I feel like for us in the health and fitness space, it's like a rite of passage where we significantly undercharge for our services. If you're in health and fitness and you undercharged in the beginning, or maybe you're still undercharging, drop a me in the chat so I know it's not just me. Let me know that I'm not alone here. Bonnie, you're with me? Yes. Okay. Susie, Christian, thank you. Yeah, I feel like it's our rite of passage. It's like we have to start there. So I remember going from 75 a month to $100 a month and being like so afraid that I had to tell somebody it was $100 a month to work with me. And by the way, I ended up in 2020, I had 121 active one-on-one clients, just me, no team, no help. And I was doing one-on-one calls with them every single week. So I had absolutely no life. 121 active clients, waking up like 5 a.m., working till 11 p.m., not sleeping, not healthy. That's like one of my favorite ironies. Now looking back at that time in my life, being a health and fitness coach who wasn't healthy, who wasn't sleeping, right? We preach, get your 7 to 8 hours of sleep, get to the gym, right? Like don't overstress yourself. And here I was, nonstop work, barely any sleep, barely getting to the gym, but yet I was teaching health and fitness. It's a little bit ironic. And I was about to burn out. I was burnt out. I was about to shut down everything. And then I made a funny decision. I call it funny now. At the time, it felt like the smart thing to do. I offloaded everybody. I had 121 clients to myself, couldn't handle it anymore, was just completely tapped out. And I decided to get rid of all of my clients. So I brought on assistant coaches, admins. I basically hired way too fast. But then I realized something. Now I have a team that I have to support. And that's a whole other pressure. It's one thing when it's just me and my livelihood. It's another thing when other people are dependent on me for their livelihoods and their family and paying bills and all of that stuff. So like, man, was that a slap in the face, realizing that I didn't actually know how to get clients. I knew how to undercharge. I knew how to say yes to everyone. I knew how to fulfill and overextend myself. I didn't actually know how to get clients. So I paid a bunch of money for mentors to tell me to send as many DMs as possible, cold outreach, get as many people on discovery calls as possible. And then it was, staring at that big fat zero every single month, thinking, how the hell are we going to do this all over again? Some months were great, some months were terrible, and it was incredibly stressful. So I had escaped the fulfillment grind and I landed right into the marketing grind. And then there was the night I almost quit. I was sitting in my car like 11 o'clock at night, doing the math on what would it look like to go back and get a regular job. And if you've ever been there when you're like staring at zero, you're questioning all of your choices, you're questioning your business, this next part is for you, because on a whim, I didn't get this advice. Nobody told me to do this. I just ran out of options and I couldn't, for whatever reason, call it divine intervention. I had this just thought pop into my head. I'm going to run a workshop. And it was summer. It was July of 2020. It was in this house. We had just bought this house in June of 2020. It was like the next month. And I was just like, I got to find a better way. I'm just going to run a workshop and see what happens. I didn't have a framework. I didn't have a script to follow. I didn't have anybody showing me the way. I just decided to do it. And I made every mistake you could possibly make. It was terrible. Probably the worst delivery that you could ever imagine on a workshop. And somehow at the end, 24 new clients signed up on the spot. And it blew my mind. It changed the whole paradigm for me of what it actually takes to run a business, to get clients, what marketing actually looks like, what trust building actually looks like. And I have been mastering this system ever since that July day or evening in 2020. I've been doing this and mastering it ever since, and have now helped hundreds, if not thousands of coaches do the same thing. So right now, We are in a trust recession. You've probably heard that phrase before. Now, typically when people say it, they say it as a negative thing. I actually think it's a positive thing. Yes, there's more competition. Yes, ad costs can be higher right now, and trust is dead, but that puts us at an advantage. And you guys already said the advantage. You just probably don't realize it yet. In the beginning of this call, when I asked you why you're so interested in running workshops, one of the words that you used was connection. You said it's a better way to connect. And that is the advantage right now. Because if you think about it, why are we in a trust recession? It's warranted. Trust is low because it's warranted. Trust should be low right now. Everything is AI generated. Everything sounds the same. Content is so like fake and fabricated. There's so much misinformation out there. How do people know what's real? You can look at a video, right? Like I saw this video is like breaking news. This like horse saves this woman from an earthquake. Maybe you guys saw that video. It's totally AI generated. Like we don't even know what's real anymore. It's like, oh, I was all into the video and then I saw obviously this is AI. So of course trust is low. So what does that open up the door for? For coaches that actually care and want to create connection. So the trust recession is not a negative thing. It's reality because trust should be low. But when trust is low, what do we lean on as humans? One of our core human desires is to connect. So when we create these opportunities for connection, it allows you to have an advantage for the coaches that actually care and want connection. That's the best way to earn trust. Teach them for 90 minutes. Let them see how you think. Let them get a result before they ever pay you. And by the time that they do get on a call with you, they're not skeptical. They're already warm. Type trust in the chat for me if this resonates with you. If that sounds more in line with what you want to be doing, type the word trust in the chat. Amazing. Awesome. Much more effective. And this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to show you the whole system. There's 3 pillars. Now we get into the meat of what your actual workshop is about. You need 3 things, and we need all of these 3 to be in place. You can't have one without the others. You need the big promise that makes people need to show up. Not like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting, but more like, I have to attend this. You need the 3 secrets that shift beliefs and position your offer, and you need the 2 paths close, which makes working with you the obvious decision. We need all 3 of these ingredients in place. So the first one is the big promise. This is the title and the promise that determine whether people register, period. Because we're trading, right? Their time and attention is what we're asking for. Even though there's not a financial commitment to your workshop, there is a time and attention commitment. And that's super valuable. So I call it the calendar test. Would somebody actually move a meeting to attend this? So if you were just to say, like, I'm running a workshop on how to improve your nutrition, somebody might be like, oh, that's kind of interesting, but there's really no substance to it. What does that actually mean? Improve your nutrition to what outcome? Who is it for? It's very vague and abstract. So likely somebody's not going to be like, oh, I have to attend this because it's so important to me. Now, if we can get more specific, we say the 3-step system to drop 20 pounds in 90 days without counting calories. Now we're getting closer. We're getting a little bit more in the right direction because there's a system, there's an outcome, there's a timeline, and there's something that they don't have to do that they might think they have to do, like counting calories. So the workshop formula, the title that we typically use that works really well, it's really simple, is just how Avatar can get specific result. And when I say specific, I mean specific, not, lose weight. That's not super specific. Feel better is not specific. So how Avatar can specific result without common obstacle. So like how coaches are signing 3 to 8 clients per month using one 90-minute workshop without posting daily or DMing strangers. 3 to 8 clients per month is a very specific outcome using the workshop system. So now there's a framework to it. And the thing that they don't have to do, they don't have to post daily and they don't have to DM strangers. So it really helps if you know your audience and the things that they think they have to do to get the result that they actually don't. So you can screenshot this if you want to use this title formula. It's really simple and really effective. We want it to be simple. We want it to be like 5th grade level of understanding for your audience and not use too much coach speak because that typically goes over their head. It's too abstract. It's too technical. We just want it to be clear. Who is it for? What is the specific outcome? And what are the things that I don't have to do? Because everybody, think about it, like your audience, they've all been down this road before. Typically, you're not their first coach that they're considering hiring. They've done things, they've tried things, even if it was free things, even if it was just, Dr. Google and ChatGPT giving them advice, they've tried stuff. So, like, there's all these things in their head. It's like, oh, I probably have to, when they see, oh, this is for me, right? You call out the avatar. Oh, that's the result that I want. Like, alleviate back pain or improve my race time for whatever your niche is. They're probably thinking like, oh, it's probably similar to blank, the thing that they already did that didn't work for them. And that's where the obstacle comes into play, where it's like, boom, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. Like, even if you've tried, keto or Whole30 or blah, blah, blah. So that's the formula. Then we go into the actual content. Now we have to deliver. We've gotten their attention. We've gotten their time. They show up. They're ready. They move the meeting off their calendar because they want to attend your workshop. So now we have to shift beliefs. It's not just delivering content. It's shifting beliefs and getting them ready to take action on the next thing. So the easiest way to break this up, and it doesn't have to be 3, by the way. It says 3 secrets. Anywhere from 3 to 5 is a good wheelhouse. Don't go more than 5. Stick to that 3 to 5 pillars, secrets, and you'll be great. First is the what they actually need to do, not what they think. And this shifts the wrong approach to the right approach, or think about like the old way to the new way. And then we want the why the current approach isn't working, so that it removes blame and creates openness. Because a lot of times people come in with thinking that they're somehow flawed or broken, right? It just won't work for me because insert internal belief system that's preventing them from doing it, right? So a lot of times there's that feeling of it's me, I'm broken, I'm flawed, this won't work for me. So if we can show them that it's actually the framework or the process or the old way, the thing that they had been doing, conventional wisdom, their current approach, the thing they've tried in the past, and we can explain it, it removes self-blame, and now it creates openness. Like, wait a minute, what if it wasn't me? What if I was just following the wrong playbook? What if I was just following the wrong framework? Which creates openness for what? The right framework. So now you insert your high-level framework. Now, a lot of times people will say 2 things that I typically get asked on this is how much detail, right? Because a lot of times people who teach this stuff will tell you, don't tell people how to do the thing. I hear it all the time. I get targeted with ads all the time. And they straight up say, if you're running a workshop or a masterclass or a webinar or whatever they call it, don't tell people how to get the result. Leave that part out completely and make them pay for it. And I fundamentally disagree with that approach. To me, that feels sleazy, just personally. Again, I'm not knocking what anyone else is doing. I'm saying for where I sit personally, it feels a little bit gross for me to know that I'm not actually helping somebody get the result, and that they have to. I want somebody to get the result whether they pay me or not. But I don't want to go into way too much detail where it overwhelms them. And I also don't want to not give enough detail where they have absolutely no clue what to do. So I call it the Goldilocks zone. It's like there's 3 levels of detail. Level 1 is not enough detail, where it's just like, oh, it's really easy to lose weight. You just, hit your perfect macro combination and move a little bit more and you'll be good. And there's actually no detail there. There's the level 3, which is way too granular. It's like, first you're going to open up MyFitnessPal, then you're going to push this button, and then you're going to log this food, and then you're going to hit submit, and then you're going to, too much detail. Then there's that level 2 framework, which helps them understand the system and the process, where they can see it. They can clearly identify like, oh, this makes sense. I know how it works. And they realize that they want some help with implementing. So here's an example, nutrition coach example. The what might be the real reasons diet failed that has nothing to do with willpower, right? And it's like, oh, I'm not weak. I've been doing it wrong. And the why counting calories is keeping you stuck. So that positions a new approach. Like, everybody told me I had to count calories, and now I'm hearing this kind of opposite way of thinking about it. And it opens their mind, like maybe it is the framework. And then we go into the metabolic reset methods, like how my clients drop 20 pounds while eating more. It shows them that there's a new framework that might actually work for them, and it creates the desire for help with implementation. Then we go into the two paths close. My favorite part of the process, because if you're like me and you don't like the selling part of it and you just want a natural transition that feels very simple, this is for you. Where if somebody is bought into your framework, now if we think about this, right? Like you went over the framework and you've got people who are like, yes, this is exactly what I need. This is what I've been missing, right? They can clearly see why the old way didn't work and this new path feels way better. Like, yes, I want this. I need this. There's logically, there's only two things that they can do. They can either do it themselves or they can do it with you. There's no other path, right? If they're bought into the framework, they're like, did this framework make sense? Can you clearly see how the old way wasn't effective and was never going to be effective for you and how this way would work? And they're like, yes, I can clearly see that path. Well, great. There's only two options now. You can take everything you learned and you can go figure it out on your own, make the mistakes and hope that it works out eventually, which is a viable option. Again, we're not here to make anybody feel bad if they want to do it on their own. But it, right? Like logically, we know this for a fact. Somebody doing it on their own without accountability, without following a proven process, we know that they're going to make more mistakes. We know it's going to be harder for them to pick themselves up when things inevitably don't go right. We know that they don't have the expertise to make adjustments and course correct. So, like, it is a big risk for them to try it on their own. And then there's the obvious path, which is do it with you. So that's path number two. We do this together. We install it together. You get there faster. There's less guesswork. There's less risk. If you want the confidence to know that you're going to reach your goals and stay there, that's why we've created path number two. And then we map out what your offer is. So here's exactly what path number two looks like. And you're going to give them all of the details. Here's how it works. And you're going to break down everything that you give them inside of your program that makes it a no brainer. So it works really well because you've just spent 90 minutes proving you know what you're talking about. They trust you. The do it yourself path typically sounds exhausting or sounds like a lot of risk and uncertainty. The done with you path sounds like relief. And then usually there's just a conversation that we frame as an assessment call, which the reason why we frame it as an assessment call is pretty simple. We want to assess if you're a good fit for the program and if we're a good fit for you. That's pretty simple, right? It's just a simple assessment. We're going to look at your current goals, what you're doing, what you've tried in the past, what your personal roadmap looks like, and we're going to see if it makes sense for you to join us. That's it. Like no pressure, no crazy sales tactics or objection handling. We're just, now that we've gotten them to see the framework, to see how it works, they know the offer, they know the breakdown of what you provide them. Now it's just a quick assessment. What's your individual situation look like? And then are you a good fit? And it's a natural conversation to move forward. All right. Who wants to participate in some hot seats? We're going to do 3 of these hot seats. And hopefully you guys will see kind of how we flesh out these ideas with actual real examples. So first one, I've got Derek. If you can unmute yourself, Derek. Let me know if you can jump on here.
Yeah, hey Mike, thanks. This is good stuff.
Good. Glad you're enjoying it. All right. Awesome. Let's start a little bit with background about your business. So we're going to go your niche, who you help, what you offer, all that good context.
Yeah, so I'm really niched down. I help people in recovery, addiction recovery, specifically 12-step recovery, specifically who are already past drinking, like they've completed the steps, they're more than a year sober.
Okay.
They're not struggling with whether or not they're going to pick up a drink, but they're just kind of stuck after that point.
Okay.
Um, I think that's pretty specific.
Awesome. Very specific.
Uh,
Now, what's the problem that they're experiencing at that point in their recovery that you help them with? So they're a year sober. It's not really about am I going to go back to drinking, but like what's the problem that they're facing that you help them solve?
that that I think is part of what I need your help on because I mean, feeling stuck is like an oversimplification and not very glamorous in terms of marketing, but that's going to look a little different for everybody. For someone, it's like, I'm just angry all the time. I'm in danger of losing my job.
Okay.
Or, my spouse still isn't pleased with me, and so there's a couple of different. It's going to be pretty individualized. So that's the part that I'm personally stuck on in terms of
Okay.
marketing.
Yeah. Okay. And it's okay to list some of those things. I think that we have to be specific if we are going to say who are feeling stuck. So, for example, if we say, um, for individuals more than a year sober who have completed the 12-step recovery process, who are feeling stuck, we need to then give examples like in your relationship, in your job, with your emotional regulation. Um, then we can insert the what's on the other side of that. What would be some of the things that they would say after working with you that they've now, like, what does the unstuck feeling look like? How would they describe that?
Again, for fear of sounding too vague, I would see like peace, clarity,
Mhm.
um, vision, purpose. Um, that's going to look a little different for everybody, but what I'm hearing you say is it's okay to throw all of that in there.
It is. Yeah, that's one of the things that your workshop title and big promise can be long-winded. In fact, it's sometimes better to be long-winded than too vague. And we sometimes we try to make it as short as possible, and we leave out a lot of context that people actually want to see. And it's okay if you say, to find your purpose, to have clarity in your life, to improve your relationship or your career. Like we can list those things as outcomes, because the right person, first of all, the identifier is really strong. Somebody who's been a year plus sober, who's gone through the 12 steps to recovery. That's really strong. Who's feeling stuck, for example, uh, trouble with your job, trouble in your relationship, anger issues, and you want clarity, direction, vision, and purpose. So that would be like the positioning. So it'd be like three secrets if you're going to stick with three secrets to help individuals who are 1 year plus sober, who've gone through the 12-step recovery, who are feeling stuck, XYZ example, who want to, blah, blah, blah. And then that's basically your positioning. So that's going to be like the way that we position the big promise. And then the way that you outline the three secrets in the actual content would be, we have to kind of set the frame. Again, think about it from like belief shifting. So the things that they're thinking about, it's like kind of the old way versus the new way. Like you've done the steps, so like now what's missing? So we have to set the frame. And then you can go into the why, like why some of the things, why it feels incomplete, why some of the things that they've been told haven't given them the purpose, the clarity, the vision that they want. And then you would insert like your process that gets them there and the things that they actually need to do and take action on. And then that positions your offer as the logical next step.
Yeah, I love that.
Does
I
that make
love
sense?
that. I just have one question because I'm ready.
Sure.
I mean, I was ready to sign up for this yesterday, brother. I wanted to hop on, full disclosure, I just wanted to hop on here and get a couple minutes of your time. With Facebook ads, I know that there's a lot of hoops to jump through in terms of like attribution and stuff. Is this something like can we do this and make this work with Facebook ads?
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, I've had no issues. I've worked with similar coaches, coaches with help with trauma, addiction, recovery, all of it. It's just a matter of knowing what you can say and what you can't say, but it's pretty straightforward. We haven't had any issues with that.
Dude, I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for participating. It looks like next. All right. In the name of time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on and we're going to circle back to hot seats at the end because I have some case studies that I want to show at the end and I want to make sure we have time for everything. And like I said, sometimes when I get in the zone, I just kind of go. So if you volunteered, stick with that, stay with me. We're going to circle back to hot seats at the very end. I just wanted to give you kind of a sneak peek of what that looks like. And then I'm also going to show you the case studies so you can see from start to finish how it all looks. And then at the end, we can go over fleshing out some of the workshop ideas and content. So I apologize for reorganizing, but I just want to be efficient with everybody's time here. So hopefully you can kind of see how that works and how that process comes together. and how we figure out like who we're talking to and what the pain point is that we're solving, and what the solution is that we're providing them. And then you can see kind of the results that happen where we get 85 people registered, 25 people showing up, 7 calls booked, 14K collected, 19K contracted, where we get the webinar leads that have way better intent than DM ads, which is great, 4K paid in full, and then a 10x return on ad spend on the right side here. Said, I'm pretty shocked. I would have never imagined pushing almost a 10x return on ad spend when I decided to work with you last month. And then we can keep going with 25 new clients from one workshop. One client just got off a call, 3 more calls booked for today, 1 call booked for Monday. And then we've got the second webinar with 12 booked calls already, 13.8K from one workshop. Enrolled 2 clients today, paid in full, already return on ad spend, 4 more calls scheduled this week, 100% show rate. And then when you start doing this over and over again, you get to a place where you see like 65K in 6 months because it's very repeatable and you can just do this over and over again every single month. Same system, same results. It doesn't matter what coaching niche you're in. The system, again, drives the results, not the niche. When you build trust for 90 minutes, the conversion takes care of itself. So now we actually have to get to build the car. The workshop is the engine, right? Like that's the thing that people are showing up for. That's the content. That's the connection piece. That's the teaching piece, the trust building. We got to actually fill the room. You can have the best workshop in the world and the best content in the world, but if nobody's there, then it doesn't matter. So we're going to go over the steps to actually fill the room and launch. So the question is, how do we actually launch a workshop? After having done this hundreds of times in all coaching niches imaginable, it comes down to a 7-step launch system. I want to make this as simple as possible so you know what the pieces are and how to do it and how to do it well. So there's 7 moving parts. You can screenshot this so that way you know and you don't miss anything, right? So you've got your landing page, your ad creatives, your ad campaign, your email sequence, your SMS sequence, your organic content, and your post-workshop follow-up. 7 pieces. It takes the average coach 3 to 4 months to build this all out if they ever finish. A lot of times they get overwhelmed, second guess everything, and quit. And I want to make sure that that does not happen for you. So having the names is one thing, but obviously knowing the name and then knowing what each one of them do is a whole nother thing. And if you get one of them wrong, then the other 6 stop working. They all have to work together. So we're going to go one at a time. I'm going to explain what it is and why it decides whether the launch works or not. Make sure you get it done properly. Nothing skips. So first is the page, right? Which turns a click into a registration. We talked about the big promise. This is the first time that somebody is actually telling you that they want to move the meeting to attend your workshop. They're actually registering. So we need the registration page that sells the click. So this is what this piece actually controls. If you had the same ads pointed at a better page, that can put twice the amount of people in the room in front of you. A page converting at 45% instead of 20% turns 200 clicks into 90 registrants instead of 40. That's 60 live instead of 30. That might be 6 clients instead of 3 on the very same ad spend. So when we do this for a coach, typically the page is written and designed before they ever log in. We have our copywriters write it out, our designers push it live, and we've got the page structure that typically works really well. So we get that registration page done. That's part 1 out of 7. Now we need to get the right people in front of it because we have the page. We know that it will convert. And now we need to send visitors and make sure that every visitor is worth double what it would have been. So that's where the ad creatives are super important here. The ad creatives decide how many people register. It's not your budget, right? Because you could have a smaller budget, but if you're getting $2 a registrant, $500 fills a room of 250. At $15 a registrant, that same budget buys you 33 people. That's identical spend. One version is a launch, the other is a wasted month. When we do this for a coach, we create the ads for them. We write out the talking head video scripts, the B-roll concepts, the static ads. And if you're too busy to do all of that, like you don't want to film anything, then we just run images instead, which that works great too. You can see one of the images that we created for one of our clients, Donna Marie, who does the book publishing offer. You're going to see her funnel in just a second. And that's part 2 out of 7. Ad creatives are number 2. Now we actually have the right to have the right campaign, because a bunch of ad creatives, if they're not set up correctly in Meta, targeting correctly, then it's kind of a waste. So we want to make sure that we get the cheapest cost per lead possible with the campaign structure. If you set things up, like a lot of times I'll talk to people who are like, I ran ads to a workshop, it didn't work. And then I find out that they just boosted posts. They just did some content and boosted it. And that's not really a campaign that buys you likes or engagement. A real campaign buys you registrations. So we do three audiences, one campaign, three ad sets, three different audiences with the budget split across prospecting and retargeting. The tracking is wired to click all the way to book a call. That way we know exactly what the numbers look like. And if you set it up wrong, you're paying full price for clicks that never register. So we have to make sure we're setting up our ad sets correctly with open targeting, which is just let Meta figure it out. Interest-based targeting, where we select some specific interests that we want to target. And then your warm/lookalike ad set. That's your warm audience, plus we do a lookalike of your warm audience. And if we split the budget across those three ad sets and then we just optimize what's working, now we can get the best cost per lead and the most amount of people to show up. The campaign gets structured when we do this for our clients. You can kind of see our media buyer actually builds it and watches it and shows you. So one of the things that our clients really like about this process when we do it for them is they get to see it firsthand. They get a front row seat to how we set up the campaigns and how to optimize and how to prune and make sure that you're getting the most out of your ad spend. So that way you can get the most return on your ad spend. So that's 3 out of 7 parts done. All right. So now we actually have to get people to show up. So we have the page, we have the ads, we have the campaign. Registrations are happening daily, but we got to get people to show up live. So first, we need to make sure that we've got some email sequences. We need not just a, you're you registered, congrats. We need the confirmation. We need to tell them why to show up. We need to tell them what's going to be covered. We need the reminders. Hey, we're live in an hour. We're live right now. Nobody remembers a free event they signed up for 10 days ago. They need reminders consistently in the right order. So if you have 200 people registered and only 11 people show up, that's not bad luck. It's just missing pieces. So again, when we do this for a coach, we have this all written out for them and scheduled for them, loaded into their account, make sure that that's all set up and ready to go. And now we have 4 out of 7 pieces done and dusted. But email is not enough for show ups. Text is actually what gets way more people. So like the email is the piece that is right. Everybody uses email, but sometimes it goes to spam. Sometimes it goes in the promo tab. So we want that reinforcement. It's like sending in the reinforcements, which is where the SMS comes into play. That's going to double your show up rate. On the exact same number of registrations, you can get at least 2 times the amount of people to show up. Like maybe email alone, you're getting 10 to 15% to show up. With text, you're getting 25 to 30% of people to show up. Again, on 200 registrants, that's 30 people live versus 60. Same ad spend, double the room, double the calls, double the conversion. A lot of times emails get open later where texts get open now. That's the entire difference. And again, when we do this for a coach, the whole SMS stack gets wired for them. The registration, the reminders, all written and automated inside their account. That's 5 out of 7 done. And now organic. Now, you don't have to push organic, but it does lower your cost per registration because it's free. So why not tell your existing audience about it? Again, we're going to fill the room with ads. We're going to make sure that there's enough people in there who are the right fit, but every single person that you get signed up for free lowers the total cost per lead. So organic registrant just drops that average cost per person in the room because they're all free leads. So why not let them know? And again, it can be casual. Typically, we write out all of the organic scripts and content strategy when we're doing this for a coach, and we just want as many people to sign up as possible from the existing audience. Oftentimes, it can be a warmer group that already trusts you a little bit, like they're not coming in completely cold, so they have a better chance of conversion. So that's 10 days of content that we typically write out and script out for our clients that they're able to just plug and play, copy and paste. So that's 6 out of 7 done and ready to roll. And then the last one that a lot of people forget. This is what happens after the workshop. So a lot of people focus on like, I want to deliver a really great experience. I want to deliver and connect and teach. And I'm super passionate about what I teach. And that's amazing. But if you have 200 people signed up and 60 people are on live, that's 140 people that didn't show up live that still wanted Maybe it was just, logistics. Like I said, I have a lot of people in the UK who can't attend my Thursday 7 p.m. Eastern time slot. It's not because they don't want to see the training. It's because it's midnight. It's like asking somebody to stay up till midnight to watch training is a big ask. It's not about the content itself, it's just logistics. So now we have opportunities after the fact, and a lot of the revenue is collected after the fact and after the call. You have all those people who want to watch the replay, who want to stay connected with you, who want to learn more about what you do. So let's say, you have your initial, say 10 to 25% conversion live. We're going to pick up another 20 to 50% of your revenue after the workshop. You close 12,000 live, there might be another 4 to 5K or more sitting in the follow-up sequence that happens for at least 7 days afterwards. No sequence, there's no money. A lot of times, with coaches where they told me that they've been doing workshops for a while, oftentimes they're missing this piece, or it's just like, here's the replay, and then that's it. They never hear from them again. And as I mentioned, I have a lot of clients where that window stays open for a long time. And we'll see coaches that I work with who are enrolling leads that signed up for workshops 4, 6, 9 months ago, and they're still converting down the road. And it all started from that one trust building session. And then they stayed top of mind throughout until that prospect was ready to go. So again, when we do this for a coach, it's all built out and loaded for them. The emails, the SMS, and the opportunities for them to continue to book calls and enroll, we map that all out. Those are the 7 pieces, and every one of them makes the others worth more. That's the whole machine, why it's so powerful. All 7 done properly turn any coaching business into a client getting machine, piece by piece. So again, let's look at what it is when it's actually finished. Now, we're going to watch those same 7 pieces installed for 3 real coaches, same order, and watch how little changes. This is kind of like a behind the scenes. Jillian, who coaches women with Hashimoto's, a year ago, no workshop, no funnel, no ads. And you can see 1487 spent on ads, 713 registrants, 105K collected. That was just from one of her workshops. You can see the landing page that we built for her. This is the actual landing page, the copy. It's a little bit, smushed to fit on the screen here, but you get the point. This was a screenshot from her actual page. The title formula from earlier tonight, filled in with her niche for women with Hashimoto's, how to reclaim your energy, lose the weight, and clear the brain fog. We wrote the hook and designed the graphic for her actual ads. These were the real ads that she was running. You can see the actual campaign that she was running. The cost per lead, the number of website leads, under $2 to put somebody in front of her for 90 minutes. It's $1.83 per person in the room. Then the emails, the text, the content, the follow-up, all mapped out. It would be a lot to take all of those screenshots, but you get the picture of how we wrote all of these in her voice to make sure that the job was fully complete. And 1487 in ad spend became 105K and collected. And then she was able to compound that the next month to be able to do 150K from one workshop. So it's very repeatable. And her job in that whole process, all of those pieces, all of those moving parts, all she had to do was just teach. Do the teaching for 90 minutes. She never had to open a dashboard. She never had to write an email. She never had to build a landing page or connect an automation. She just had to teach what she already knows. Now we have Jessie, who coaches real estate investors. Completely different world. Not a lot of people in her market were running workshops. She ran 3, and her numbers were $6.36 per registrant, 35K collected. New niche, new page, still written for her in her voice based on her audience. You can see what her actual page was. Different market, different price per seat. She wasn't getting $1.83 per lead because it's a totally different market. That's expected. So we're still well within our KPI, $6.36 to put somebody in the room. And you can see her tracking sheet of how many people showed up and closed. And here's the cool part about this. Look at closed later. See, like the first workshop, 2 closed the same day, 4 closed later. Then 0 closed the same day, and 3 closed later. Then 1 closed the same day. So you can see how this keeps working and keeps getting better. And we just need to update that top row here with the actual revenue, but you get the gist of how it keeps getting better and better. It's about 1 in 3 registrants showed up live, which is perfectly normal, 33%. 3 out of 4 were still watching when she made the offer, which is very normal as well. And then getting those clients from about 150 people, 35K across 3 rooms. So that's 2 for 2, right? Then we have Donna Marie, who helps female experts write their book. Third niche, nothing to do with health, nothing to do with real estate. She spent less than 1,000 on ads, had 245 register, and did 30K collected. Again, different page. Her words, our words in her voice with our structure and formula. We did this whole ad campaign for her, which was really cool. Write your book in a weekend. It was a really powerful ad campaign. And then you can see the numbers of website leads, cost per lead, right? We got all that set up for her. $2.34, different niche, different cost per lead. And then her email to me 4 days after she taught. So I just wanted to give you an update on my masterclass. Spent just under 1K in advertising. 16 calls booked, 15 showed, and I have another one today. 3 closes, 7,500 each. One more who said she's paying today. When that happens, that will be 30K paid in full, cash collected. That's her actual email, 8:48 in the morning. Under 1,000 in ads, 16 calls booked, 15 showed up. 4 of them said yes to a 7,500 paid in full offer. Pretty cool stuff. So under 1,000 became 30K collected from one, or that's over 30x return on ad spend. So would you invest in something that made you 30,000 in 90 minutes, just like Donna Marie did? And Jillian, and you can see her June numbers where she spent a little more on ads, got 150K in revenue. And then like Donna Marie and Jesse. And so did hundreds of other coaches, health, fitness, holistic business, where you can just see the numbers, the return on ad spend, the 10 to 13 calls booked, just 2 weeks full of booked calls here, 65K in 6 months. The numbers are pretty impressive across the board. So remember in the beginning, we talked about something that they all have in common, where the first thing I said was all these coaches who are doing this, who have figured out client acquisition, who have predictability, they have an aligned way where they get to teach and do what they love and get dream clients every single month. And the first thing that I said that they have in common is that they all run a 90-minute workshop each month. And I said I'm going to leave out the second thing because I needed you to see the full process before we close the loop. It's not their niche, obviously. It's not their audience, and it wasn't their budget. Jillian sells health. Jesse sells real estate. Donna Marie sells book writing. None of them had a big following. All 3 of them let somebody who has done it hundreds of times build it. That's it. Because they recognize that their best time spent in their business isn't building landing pages. It isn't creating automations and tags. It's not setting up and managing ad campaigns. They recognize that their best use of time was the teaching, and that they let somebody else who's done this hundreds of times take care of the rest. So we've built hundreds of these. We know the drill better than anybody else. We know what titles fill a room and which ones die quietly. We know what a registrant should cost and how to get you to that KPI. And we've already made all of the expensive mistakes so that you don't have to. It was their first workshop, but it was our 100th. And that's the difference between a launch that works and a launch that you learn from. Now, let me be straight with you here. You probably kept noticing that I said, when we do this for a coach, that was basically the offer the whole way through. I didn't put a label on it because I wanted you to see the actual work first. So let me just say openly that this is the offer part of the presentation, because I want to help you with this too. And if you don't want to stick around for this part, no hard feelings. You already have everything you need. You've seen the system. You have the receipts. You can close out. But if you want to know what it costs and what it looks like to have my team build this all for you, then you can stick around. And again, no hard feelings either way. So I told you I would just say it out loud. This is pitch time. Now we're getting into the actual offer. But before I say a word, again, just want to show you what's possible. 25 new clients from a single workshop, 13.8K, 65K in 6 months. And then Jillian, like I said, the thing that Jillian was able to do 105K on one workshop and then 150K on her next workshop was that she didn't touch a thing. Not the page, not the emails, not the text, not the ads. She didn't have to open a single dashboard. Neither did Jesse, neither did Donna Marie, neither did any of the other coaches that you look up to. They teach, somebody else builds. And that's the part that nobody talks about, that there's a well-kept secret in the coaching business where The highest paid coaches, they don't build funnels, they don't write emails, they don't run ads, they don't design landing pages, they don't build slide decks, but they have all of those things. So where do they get it? How are they month after month getting all of the dream clients? They're not the ones doing it. Not because they're better, because they let somebody else take care of it for them. And after having done this hundreds of times for my clients, I'm the one who builds it. 100 plus workshop machines installed for coaches in every niche. And if you had the same team behind you, you'd have their calendar and their consistency and their predictability. Now, I could have just put this all in a program, done a course where you watch all the modules, then life happens and the machine dies in module 4, a group program, but you'd still be the one building everything. You just have more homework to do, or done for you, which was the only way that I could guarantee that everything gets finished, because we are the one finishing it. So at the end of the day, you want this done. You don't want another project, and you shouldn't want another project. Like I said, you shouldn't be spending a ton of time writing landing pages, building out automations, connecting it with different tags in your CRM, and doing all that busy work that has to get done, but it shouldn't be the stuff that you do. So what we're looking at is speed here, because if you did all of this yourself and you're like, you know what, I want to do all of those pieces, it could take you 4 months if you finish it all, and you might make a lot of costly mistakes. Or we install it 3 weeks, launched, filled, taught. That gap is over 3 months of launches that you would have run. Where if you're doing 12K to 19K per launch, speed is the whole investment. You could be 3 workshops in by the time that it took you to fill one yourself. So here's exactly what the offer is: the workshop install, completely done for you, where you just show up and coach. Now, here's how this breaks down. We build everything. The whole system that books calls, we install the funnel, we set up the ads, we write the copy, we coach you through everything so that no money is left on the table. You show up live and you teach what you already know. You close the calls that arrive on your calendar, again, with our support and coaching, and then you cash the checks and you work with dream clients. So let's talk about who's taking the risk, because I am going to ask you to put in some ad spend, about $500 in ad spend, but I want to make sure that you're profitable no matter what. So we have a guarantee where if you don't get at least 3 clients minimum from your workshop, from your next workshop, you have 2 options. You can tell me you want to keep going and we work with you at no additional cost until you get there, or you can tell me you're done and I refund your full investment plus your ad spend. Now think about that. If you were to run this on your own and you spent 500 in ads, Meta's not giving you your ad spend back if it doesn't convert. We are. So if you run the workshop and you decide, you know what, I didn't get my 3 client minimum, I want my investment back, you also get your ad spend back with that. No fine print, no loopholes. So here's the math. You have the install investment, you have the ad spend investment. Let's say you get 0 clients, payback triggered, I refund your investment plus ad spend every single dollar. So worst case is you're going to break even, plus you keep the full funnel, the full system, the list of 200 plus leads that you own forever. And I haven't even told you the number yet, and it really doesn't even matter, because I make sure that you are made whole no matter what. And if it all it did was get you 3 clients, would it be worth it? Because that's the worst case scenario. That guarantee makes sure of it. Your worst case scenario is 3 clients, or you're made whole with the guarantee. And it's really straightforward. How can I afford to do that? Because I've done this so many times. I know how to make it work. I'm betting on the system. And quite frankly, if I'm making a promise to you that we can deliver a high converting workshop and we don't deliver that, then I shouldn't keep your investment and you should get your money back. That is my belief. So you might be thinking one of 3 things. Time. How much time is this going to take? You don't build anything. We install it. You show up and teach. Money. Worst case scenario is break even. The refund covers your investment and your ad spend. Will it work for me? We've done this hundreds of times across every coaching niche. The system works. As long as you know your niche and you know what problems you solve, this will work for you. And I mentioned, for coaches who are on here who are in the functional space, some of our best performing workshops are for coaches in the functional space. I think that the lowest return on ad spend for a functional coach with us has been 5X. So just to set expectations of what you can expect, 5X, and for functional coaches in particular, because I know we have a lot on here in that world. So what it could cost is, if we were putting all this together and you were hiring out copywriters, freelancers, ad agencies, you could spend up to $14,000 in real world build costs like funnel builders and copywriters and ad agency. We're not asking you to pay that. We're not asking you to pay even close to that. But again, where did that number come from? Well, a lot of our clients make that on just their first workshop. So if they're profitable right out of the gate, 13,800, 25 new clients, we know that it's worth it no matter what the cost is, but we want to make it as doable as possible. So real quick, all the things that we do for you, all the pieces, the 7 pieces, the registration page, the ad creatives, the campaign manage, the 5-part sequence, the SMS, the organic content mapped out, the 5-day post-workshop follow-up sequence, the 90-minute workshop script and slide deck, 30 days of scaling coaching with me, our guarantees, you keep everything. And that's the install. Now, the first 10 people who pay in full also get 2 private one-on-one sessions with me, not group calls, not with my team, with me. We'll work on your messaging, your ads, your close, your next launch, whatever moves the needle for you. That's the first 10. After that, you just get the install. And I only take coaches I'm confident I can help. So you already have an offer. You're willing to get on camera and teach for 90 minutes, and you'll reply to my team when we ask you something. That's it. If you read those and you're like, that's me, then this is for you. I'm not looking for polished or experienced or fearless. I'm looking for coachable. And if you're still here, you've already proven that. So there's 2 ways that you can get started. You can do a jump to the front of the line, which is what most coaches pick because they want to get going right away. Or you can start with a deposit if you want to split things up a bit. So if you want to jump to the front, it's $3,000 paid in full. Plus, I have a $500 off live promo code that you can use today. That will give you $500 off the paid in full option. So it would make it $2,500. You'll get priority onboarding, the full build out, all the bonuses, 30 days of coaching, or you can start with a deposit, which is $500. Same full install, same guarantee. You just split it up where you do your deposit and then you break up the payments over 30 days. Auto build, you don't have to remember everything. The same guarantee, all that still applies. You're still protected completely. It's just if you like to break things up, totally fine. Or if you're somebody who wants to do 3 months and you want to compound this over a 3-month period, 90 days, full one-on-one coaching support, 3 workshop builds, and you want to see this through in a 90-day period, then you can do the Black Label Accelerator, which is 3 months for $10,000. But there's only one spot for that. It's just basically we install the whole machine. We run it 3 times in a row to keep improving it. So that way you can continue to grow and build over a 90-day period. Same build, same guarantee, same results. It's just if you want to keep going over 90 days with full one-on-one coaching support, you can do that as well. So again, if you would add this all up, the 90-minute workshop, the 7 launch pieces, the ad campaigns, the coaching, the guarantee, the private coaching sessions with me for just $3,000, plus I'm going to give you a promo code that you can use. And one more time, 0 risk. Minimum 3 clients. If you don't hit that, you get a full refund plus your ad spend, but you keep the whole funnel. It's all yours. The workshop's yours. The funnel is yours. The leads are yours. There is no version of this where you are not successful. Where we're at with total builds, we can do 12 more, and then we move. I actually just hired a new onboarding coach and a new funnel builder. So that way we have the bandwidth to do 12 more because this is very popular. People love this process and the results are amazing. So we've expanded our capacity a bit. We could do 12 more this month, and then we move to the next month. Same price. It's just 30 days later. So you're paying for speed and implementation. Once we're full, the calendar just moves. That's just how we do the operation. So if you look at the count of how many people are on this call right now and the numbers and how many we can build, you can do the math faster in your head than I can say it out loud. So here's what you'll do right now. There's a link that I'm going to drop in the chat along with the live promo code. And that's important because I want you to get the $500 off. So the link is in the chat. The promo code is case sensitive. It is live 500. So you're going to go to that site to secure your spot. Again, the 500 off is only on the paid in full option. You will get the onboarding immediately after you sign up. So do not close out of that page. You go to that page, you secure your spot. Make sure you take advantage of the discount. It's available for those of you who are on live, all caps, live 500. Once you get your spot, it will take you right to a thank you page that says, here are your 2 next steps. You get my personal cell phone number so that we can stay connected. And then you get the onboarding form so we can get started right away. So Once you secure your spot, do not close out of that page. All right, so that's where you're going to go. Once the 12 spots are full, then you just will see that the calendar will move in terms of dates available. We'll go to the next month, and that's how it works. If you want to start with the deposit, you can start with the deposit and split things up. If you don't want to do the paid in full option, it's still the same process. You're still protected just the same. You just split up the payments. So if you go to that page right now, you'll see the 3 options. If you want the VIP accelerator, the paid in full, the 500 discount plus the 2 VIP calls with me, or just deposit and pay later. Just make sure you're only selecting one of the 3 options because that's all you need. So like I said, once you pay, you get redirected straight to the onboarding form. No waiting, no email, no wondering what happens next. It will tell you exactly these next 2 steps, which you can't really see right now because the text is small. But you're going to go to that page. You're going to have my personal cell phone number and the onboarding form right away. This is the actual page that you will land on. And then Kelsey from my team will get you scheduled for your onboarding call. We'll do the intake. We'll review the workshop angle. We get started on building. That's the whole process. Nobody chases you. You don't chase anybody else. So here's what happens after you join. 24 hours, right? You've got my cell. Everything's delivered. Onboarding form, instant access. We get your kickoff call scheduled. We map out your offer, your story, the entire build. We review the script, the slide deck, every launch asset. You review and approve before we move on. Again, we want to make sure we capture your voice and your content. And we're really good at that part of it. The messaging part is what makes this work. We got to make sure that we've captured your voice really well, that you feel aligned with what we've created. So we only move on and when you sign off and approve, like, hey, this sounds great. You get the full funnel, the emails, the SMS, the ads, your room starts filling, workshop goes live, and then it's you and me one-on-one reviewing your numbers, and I tell you exactly how to get better and how to keep compounding. So do your thing, grab your spot while it's open. If it's full when you get there, you'll see there's no games. And then again, for the first 12, we get that because we have 12 spots left. You've got the promo code LIVE500. So if you go to that page right now, I will copy that link again so that way you have it. And it is promo code LIVE500 on the paid in full. You can be live in 21 to 28 days with the room filling, ads running, text going out 3 weeks from this call, as long as you're quick on your 2 jobs, right? You sign up and you start your onboarding and we get you scheduled right away for your call. So we present the concept on your onboarding call, the whole plan. You're going to see the title. You're going to see the structure. You're going to see the script. You're going to see the ad angles. You're going to see everything all mapped out. Once you approve it, we start the build right away. And you will approve it because it's all built off of your answers. We're not pulling anything out of thin air. We're taking what you tell us and your voice and your things that we can pull from your business, and we're creating it around that in a way that we know converts. So you might have some minor feedback for us on how to make it even more, powerful in terms of like your expertise in teaching, but we're going to get it like 99% of the way there and make sure that it's perfect before you actually go live because we want to make sure it converts. Now, if you do show up to the kickoff call and you haven't completed your onboarding form, there's nothing for us to present. So we just reschedule and you lose your place in line. But I don't think that you're that type of person where you would schedule the call without actually finishing the form first because you're here and you've already been paying attention for this long. So I can't imagine that you would do that. But that's just the way it goes. If you schedule your call and you have nothing filled out for us, then we have nothing to present and we just push you to the end of the line. Now, 30 days from now, one of 2 things will be true. You'll be 30 days older or 30 days older with the machine installed printing clients for you. Monday, 9 a.m., 4 calls on your calendar, all inbound, all warm, like Jillian, Donna Marie, or Jesse did too. It's the same 30 days either way. The only difference is what you do before this Zoom closes out. Now, I just want to bring back up something here before I put this whole thing in front of you one more time. In the beginning, I asked a simple question. I said, how many are here because you want a better way of getting clients, a more aligned way of getting clients, a more predictable way of getting clients, and a more consistent way of getting clients? And out of all of the people that were on here, every single person said, yes, that's why you're here. If that's why you're here, the question is, does moving forward with this move you in that direction? Or does walking away from this without moving forward move you in that direction? One of them moves you in that direction, one of them doesn't. It's, to me, I like when things are pretty logic and binary. If you don't do this, does it get you a more predictable client acquisition system where you're getting dream clients every month? You wouldn't be here if you already had that figured out, right? If what you were currently doing was already crushing and every single month you were getting all the clients that you want and they were amazing clients and you loved it and all that was working perfectly well, then you just wouldn't be here. That's just fact. So I told you I'm a very direct person. So the way that I look at it is you came here with a purpose. You said, I want a better, more aligned, more predictable, more consistent way of getting dream clients. Now the opportunity is right in front of you to get that. And here's exactly what it looks like. 90-minute workshop built out on what you already know. The promise and title written with the formula you learned tonight, the 3 teaching secrets mapped to the beliefs your buyers already hold, the 2 paths close so it never feels like a pitch, the full slide deck designed, ready to present. You show up, answer questions about your own business, and we build this from your answers. 1 workshop, 46 calls booked in the next 7 days, 25 new clients, $675 in ad spend to $10K, $5K collected, $5K contracted. All 7 pieces launched, written, built for you. The registration page, the ad creatives, the ad campaigns, the 5-part email sequence, the SMS, the organic, the 5-day post workshop, all that done for you. You don't have to touch any of it. Getting rooms to fill, 600 registered, 20 calls booked from 1 workshop. Your campaign launched and managed when it runs, all the 3 audiences set, prospecting and retargeting split. We push the buttons live with you on a screen share so you can see how it works. And then we watch it and make sure we optimize so we get the best cost per lead possible. 30 days of coaching with me through the whole launch. We read your numbers together. We adjust while it's live. I coach you through the delivery and the close so no money is left behind. We set you up to run it again on your own next month. Most people build the thing and then disappear. This is the part that decides whether it actually works. So we make sure you have full support through all of that. Again, 13,800 from 1 masterclass, 2 enrolled paid in fulls with more calls scheduled and show up rate at 100%. All of it is yours. When the 30 days are over, you still have the funnel. You still have the deck. You still have the copy. You still have the automations, the account. Everything is yours. And you run it again without paying anybody because you have everything set up already that you can simply duplicate and just make some small tweaks and optimizations and you're ready to roll. And you get your 2 private sessions with me where we're going to go over things in your business that actually move the needle. 3 clients, or you choose what happens next. We keep working together at no cost, or we refund the full investment plus your ad spend. Again, worst case scenario is you break even. Nothing to lose and a whole universe of clients to gain. And then you get to run it again and again and again and keep compounding and keep growing. So here's everything mapped out, plus the 500 discount. So it's actually 2,500 if you do the paid in full, or you can do the deposit. We do everything for you. You show up, teach, and get paid. And again, think about it like this. Like if you were to invest in Meta ads on your own, you have no protection here. So like the way that I look at it is if you do it this way, you're just kind of parking your money to the side. It either comes back to you like many times over in the form of new clients and revenue. And if it doesn't, you just get it back. We just take it out of the parking lot and send it back to you plus your ad spend. So that is the guarantee that protects you. That's why it's parking it and not risking it, which is very different. Again, try it on your own. You spend on the ads. If it doesn't convert, Meta's like, our bad, here's your money back. They don't do that. We do. We make sure that you are made whole if it does not convert. So most of the time, just 1 client from it covers, the investment in a lot of cases, depending on your offer. But we make sure of it with the 3 client guarantee that you can keep producing and you can keep repeating this month after month. And then you get to run it as many times as you want. So here's everything that happens after you join. Like I said, onboarding form, onboarding call. We present the concept, you approve it. We write and build all of it. You approve it. We launch the ads with you. Then we manage it daily to make sure we're getting the most out of it. You teach for 90 minutes. That's the first like real work that you do outside of just reviewing and approving what we're already creating for you. Only downside is we can only do 12 more of these this month. And again, you can look at the numbers and just kind of see where we're at. If the page says full when you get there, that's it. Then we'll move the calendar ahead and you can go directly to this page. And awesome. Looks like we've got some people in here, which is beautiful. Can't wait to work with some of you. So again, the page one more time in the chat, plus the promo code. And then we're going to get to Q&A in just a second. Two types of coaches, the one with the workshop machine and the ones watching those coaches sign all the clients. So which one leaves this call tonight? Let's do this together. Again, I'm going to leave this page up here while we answer some questions. And I know there was a lot. Super cool. Does the cost of the sale typically cover the ads? I would like to discuss my fees to make sure the return is realistic. Yeah, typically, yes. Like if you can just do the math in your head, right? So like if you do 2,500 for the install and 500 in ad spends, you're 3K in. What do we need to make in terms of how many clients to make you profitable off of that? And if 3 clients doesn't make you profitable, then we need to talk about that. But we make sure that in most cases, 3 clients is going to put you in a really good return on ad spend spot. So we want to make sure that your first workshop is super profitable, that you can run it again and keep compounding, and you don't have to pay the fee every time you run it. So that's the beauty of it, is you get set up the right way. We want it to convert. If one client for you is more than 3K over the lifetime of the client, like you have to think about lifetime value. If one client is worth more than 3K to you, then yes, one client would cover the whole thing for you. If your price point is 2K, then it's going to take you 2 clients to be profitable, but that's why we make sure that we have that 3 client guarantee. The 90-minute workshop is free. Yes, we typically recommend that you run it for free. It's just really easy to make the math work with a free one. Spending my, hopefully I was on the first 10. Awesome. Not techie. You don't have to be techie. How much do you need to typically spend above the 25? Yeah, so that would be 500 in ad spend. So 2,500 for the install, 500 in ad spend, and we're going to make sure that you hit your 3 client minimum, and that should make you super profitable. What's my part aside from the teaching moving forward? Yeah, great question. So for teaching, obviously you have to deliver the workshop. You also have to review the scripts that we create. So like we got to make sure that this sounds like you, that this is what you want to present. So like you have to review what we create for the workshop. So it's just kind of reading through the workshop title, the workshop script, making sure it sounds like you. You also have to do, if you want to do video ads, we write out the scripts for you, but we can't film for you, obviously, because we're not you. So that part, and that's, you know, if you want to do video ads, which we do recommend, it's nice to have video ads in there. So we do write the scripts for you. And then the same thing with organic content. We write out the content for you, but we can't actually film any like reels or video talking head videos. So we can write it for you, but we can't film it for you. So there's certain things that are just limited by we're not you. Everything else that we could possibly do to take off your plate, we do. So that's really it. You have to show up and teach. You have to review what we create. And then if you want to do the videos, then you have to film them based on our scripts. What's a functional coach? A functional coach is somebody who does more like root cause health and wellness coaching, where they're looking at like hormone health and gut health and more of like, what's the root cause of some of the dysfunction that people are feeling. It's just a subcategory, I would say, of nutrition and fitness coaching. Going to work on my new offer and come back for the help. Amazing. Wasted so much money and credit energy going in circles, starting over now. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I made a lot of bad investments in my years in business, so I can appreciate that fully. Yes, when you are ready to come back and get some support, we are here. Awesome, and love that you're in. Derek, let's go. Is there a particular software we need to invest in as well? Good question, Becca. We use whatever software. By the way, if you're a fertility coach, you will absolutely crush with this. Those have been some of my most best workshops that we've done for other women. So CRM software, if you have something like Go High Level, or if you have like Kajabi or System.io or any of those CRMs, we use your platform, whatever CRM you use. If you don't have a CRM, we give you Go High Level for 70 days for free. So you don't have to pay for it. So you get access to Go. If you don't have any CRM, you're like, I don't even know what a CRM is. I have no idea. I don't send emails. I don't have landing page abilities. Then we just give you Go High level access to for 70 days because it's really easy to use, and we build everything in there. Incredibly good price value. Thank you so much. How do you get the 500 discount? Yep, live 500 in the coupon box on the paid in full. Can you explain everything that we would need to have in place with our online business? Yes, you need to have an offer and you need to know who you serve and what you help them with. So like an offer would be like, I have a 3-month group program, or I have a 6-month one-on-one program, or I have a 12-week transformation program that's X amount and it solves this problem for this person. If you have that, then we can help you. There's no such thing as zero risk if you go bankrupt. I need your help. My book is being published now. I've written in 200 major. I built a modern day AA. I need a couple days to get the money, but I'd like to talk. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I would say this, if investing in it is going to put you in a situation where you might go bankrupt, then don't invest. I would much rather you not do that. Like if I would look at it like this, if you can't park the money for like 30 days, and you're just pushing it aside for 30 days to know that it's either coming back to you in full or plus a lot more. If you can't park it to the side for 30 days, then it's probably not the best option. If you can park it to the side for 30 days, absolutely zero risk. Yes, great question, Joanne. In our workshop, the CTA is to book an assessment call. It is. The reason being is because in most of the coaching niches that we work with, there needs to be a conversation about fit and is this somebody that you want to work with? So that's why we do the assessment call. It really works well. So you need to keep paying for your services. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but we set you up so that you can keep doing this on your own, even if you didn't want to continue with us. We do have options if you wanted to, let's say, like invest in a longer term relationship. For what I like to show proof first that I over deliver on what I promise. And if you're like, I want to keep working with you for another 3-6 months, we have options. Or you have all the tools that you need to just run it again on your own over and over again. And either way is totally fine. Is my business a good candidate? Do I need to raise my prices? Does the 3,000 paid now include ad spend? Great question. The price of the program does not include ad spend. So the 2,500 paid in full or the 3,000 if you do the deposit does not include your ad spend. So you'll pay about 500 additional in ad spend. Do I need to raise my prices? I don't have context to know if you need to raise your rates, but I would say in most cases, I don't typically take somebody on and just immediately say, raise your rates. I would rather get you a bunch of clients first and then prove that, like, yes, the demand is there. And then I would need more context on your business. But it's a good candidate if you know who you serve, right? You know what problems you solve, you know your niche, and you actually have an offer to help them. Awesome. Currently hold a 30-minute live demonstration show with a guest each week. Will these interfere? Could I send people to the workshop from the lives? Great questions. It will not interfere. Anything that you're doing to nurture your existing audience, you can absolutely keep doing. It won't interfere. And you can send people from those lives to the workshop for sure. Are we selling high ticket with the workshop, or can it be an introductory, like step one? You have your choice. My preference is that you go from workshop to high ticket because it makes the math work really favorably. So I like that approach. But yes, I've done situations before where it's more of an introductory offer, and we just make sure that we set you up for success either way. The question is, will this system work on any other platform besides Meta? It can, but that's not something that we do. We primarily do Meta. We only do Meta when it comes to running ads. We don't do LinkedIn ads. We don't do YouTube ads. We only run this on Meta. If you wanted to do other like organic LinkedIn content or YouTube content, that's on you. We set this up particularly in Meta. Yeah, if you're interested and you have questions, drop them on the call. I trusted a very reputable company with 45 grand to help me build my business on the first call. She tells me they're going bankrupt. Shit out of luck. I'm coachable. I'm so sorry to hear that. Hopefully you might be able to, find a way to get your money back. But yeah, that sucks. And I've wasted a lot of money on investments in that price range as well. So I know that feeling very much. What platform are you building the funnel? Like I said, it's built on your platform. So if you do have Go High Level, if you have System.io, if you have Kajabi, we build it in your platform. And then um, if you don't have a platform, we give you Go High Level. Functional. Sorry, functional health coaches. I should probably. Yeah, I agree. No one in the industry is doing this. Let me see what questions are below here. Can the live workshop be done on YouTube? Yeah, I typically recommend doing it on Zoom. I work full time right now, can only handle 2 individual coaching clients per month, and I have an online course that I want to have people enroll into that handles 4 group coaching calls. Can the workshop work for both coaching and enrollment? Yes, it can. So that's one of the nice things about doing the assessment call is then you can place people where you want them. If you're like, you'd be a perfect fit for one-on-one, but I can only take on 2 people, great. And then you can also direct people to your online course as the other option for them to move forward. There's a lot of chatter out there that says people need to know, like, and trust you before they will spend on you. What's your take? Yeah, I mean, I think that as a blanket statement, that really lacks a lot of context because, of course, like you're not going to go in and just find out about somebody like, oh, I heard of this person's name. I don't know what they do. I don't know who they help. I've never consumed any of their content. Let me just go find out if they have an offer and pay for it. Like that's typically not going to happen. But I think that sometimes we lose sight of the nuance in that statement, which is some people, a lot of people will find out about you, sign up for something like a workshop, spend 90 minutes with you, and sign up for your offer because you were able to condense the know, like, and trust period, right? Everybody's like buyer journey. I think about it like this. The buyer's journey is going to look different for everybody. Some people, it's going to be literally a day. Other people, it's going to be literally years. I have people that sign up with me. They're like, I started following you 3 years ago. That their buyer's journey is a year. I have people that are like, I found you today. I signed up for your workshop and I just purchased. Their buyer's journey was hours. So I think that that whole statement lacks a lot of context. It's like as a blanket statement, people need to know, like, and trust you, of course. But there's different layers to that in terms of how long it takes somebody to get to the point where they feel comfortable making that investment. Let's see. Yes, USD and Thrive Architect. As long as they have the landing page and email capability, then we can do it. I don't think my questions are being seen. I don't know if I saw your questions either. I apologize. Do you suggest mentioning 3-month program if you know 6 months is the minimum for results, but it costs 6,000? I would start with what you think is necessary for them to get results. I'm not seeing no responses. Yes, it will be. If you have GHL, it'll be built out in your GHL for sure. Yeah, we want you to have an offer already. I want to be sure I understand. The offer was in the hundreds, not thousands, with the 3 clients that sign up have to be at least 3,000 in sales. No, because the way that I like the 3 is just a number to make sure that you're profitable. If you're not profitable, it still is the same protection. Like if you had an offer that was like, let's say $500 and 3 people signed up for your $500 offer, that's only 1,500. If you invested 3K and you only made 1,500 back, to me, I don't look at that as a win because you're still in the hole. So that would still trigger you have the ability to be made whole, or you can keep working with me. I want to make sure that it's actually profitable. So I'm not just going to tell you to raise your rates just to make sure that 3 clients is more than 3,000. Hopefully that makes sense. We want to make sure that your workshop is profitable on your full investment. Would client-facing workshops be in person or online? You could do either. Typically, it's a little bit easier to coordinate online. I'm new to coaching, but I have a niche. However, I have not created an online business or teaching presentation. Would this be a good fit for me? You don't need to have a teaching presentation, but you do need to know who you're helping and have an offer. It's like if you have a niche, you have an offer, and you know how to fulfill on that offer, then it would work for you. I want my webinar to promote a $30 product. Would that be worth it? Yeah. So in that case, um, is probably not the path that I would recommend to go to a $30 product. Yes, you can definitely email me questions. Do I need a lot of testimonials to make the workshop convert? No. If you don't have a bunch of testimonials, we typically use like your own story and like parts of your story woven throughout. This is the best value I've seen in the coaching industry in a long time. Thanks so much. Thank you so much, Susie. I really appreciate that. This is really cool, amazing. All right, I think I'm caught up. I'm looking to get 3 to 4 clients at 2,400 12-week program. Is this feasible to get started with 500 in ads? Yes, it is. Absolutely. If you're just looking for 3 to 4 clients and your program's 2,400, that's right in line with our KPIs that we want to hit. So absolutely, that would definitely make sense. What would be the low ticket or what would be the ticket offer to make this feasible to work with your program? Typically, I want to see 500 minimum. I've done this with offers that were 300 to offers that were 247, I think is, and it's worked, but you need a lot of volume. So I definitely recommend at least 500. Do we do rev shares with certain clients? Once, the only time that I've done that is once, exactly, Alex, first date that we marry. Once we've gotten clients that have scaled, to a certain point and we've helped them to accomplish that, like some of the client examples where they're coming in at like, 15, 20,000 a month, and we've been able to get them to 100, 200,000 a month. Then we start entertaining the rev share conversation. I've got the workshop install onboarding form. How long after I complete until we book the first workshop? Yeah, about 3 weeks from the time that you complete to the time that we are launched. Great questions. All right, keep them coming. Any other questions that I have missed? How are we doing on time? Oh man, I told Alex I wasn't going to go for 2 hours today, but looks like we're going for 2 hours. Is it recommended for the webinar to be live every time? I do. The live just works so much better than the replay. There's something about the live experience. It converts better. You don't have to do like you could get into a cadence that's less frequent than every single month if you wanted to, but like most of my clients like really enjoy that process, and it just for some reason live converts so much better and it's way more fun. Do we need to make a copy of the onboarding form? Yes, please. Please go to file, make a copy, because you'll get the master copy that everybody gets. So you just file, make a copy. You'll have your own that you can edit. How long do you guys run ad spend before an event? Do you increase 24 hours out? Great question. We do 10 days of ad spend. We will recommend increases as we go. It doesn't necessarily have to be 24 hours out. For example, like Jillian's example, when we see clients getting leads for less than $2, we're going to be like, hey, probably worth increasing the ad spend because we know it's going to be super profitable. So we optimize as we go. We don't have like set, we always increase 24 hours out. We run for 10 days. We do the first review, really like the first pruning 72 hours in, and we'll recommend when it makes sense to increase ad spend. We do. We manage the ads fully. Yes. Yeah. So we set up the whole campaign for you. We manage the campaign for you. The only thing that you would have to do is film the video ads that we script for you, and we manage the whole thing. If you guys add /copy on the end of your Google Doc, it automatically makes a copy, so you don't get that question anymore. Ah, yes, that is a great. I do that with some things, and for some reason I messed that one up here. What if we've just experienced? So is what we've just experienced your model at work? Yes. This is inception. This is inception marketing where you see the thing happening in real time. Like a dream inside of a dream. But yes, this is the whole process kind of at work where we create this whole process for you and yeah. Just need to talk to you about my fees for my offer and if it will make sense. You can tell me your offer if you feel comfortable sharing in the chat and just say like, it's 500 for 8 weeks or it's X amount for X amount of time or it's whatever, and then I can tell you if what the logistics would be. The one-on-one calls are for the first 10 people. I'll tell you what, for anybody that does join before we end here, you'll get the one-on-one calls. So I will scrap that because I think we're pretty close to our limit. Um, so if you sign up here before we close out Zoom, you get the one-on-ones. Yeah, so that's definitely something that we would work out with you to make sure that you have the right offer, that we have the right option in place, that there's potentially a downsell in place if you have multiple options. So that is something that we work on with you to make sure that it converts. Awesome. It looks like Alex sent me, oops, stop this share here. Do I recommend the monthly workshops being the same time, same every time, or rotate them? Great question. Um, we want it to be consistent. Like if it's producing, we typically just keep them the same. Sometimes we'll make some small tweaks, and then depending on your offer, like Jillian's a good example where she does a Hashimoto's workshop and she does a gut health workshop, and we just rotate between those two. So it really depends, but we want there to be a good rhythm of the same workshop that's converting consistently because that's really what adds the layer of predictability that we're looking for in growth. Are we able to pay in full, but from two sources? Um, That's a good question. I don't have an option right now for that. Really, typically it's just the one paid in full, especially with the 2,500 off, because I don't have like a discount set up for anything other than the one paid in full. But if you do the deposit and then you message me that you want to pay in full in two sources, I can send you a custom link. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. Are the calls booked the assessment calls? Yes, they are. Do you guys build in any CRM or do you require a certain one? I'm in Go High Level. We build in any CRM. Our preference is Go High Level, so that works out really well. Offer price on the workshop. What prices work? What if we don't have anything that high priced? Yeah, again, there's not a specific offer price that works. The workshop works and it gets people to enroll in your offer. Having an offer at least $500 or more is great to make the math work. So I would I'm laughing at Alex. The next question, my favorite ice cream flavor. So yeah, we want to make sure that the math works. So having an offer at least 500 or more can be helpful. What is my favorite ice cream flavor? Coffee ice cream is my favorite flavor. What platform are you building the funnel? We said that Go High Level or whatever platform you use. If you don't have one, we give it to you for free for 70 days. How long does it take to build the workshop once you get the first call booked? About 3 weeks. Will this work? Oh, I already answered that one. I already answered that one. All right. I think I covered all of these. Built out and Go High Level. Yes. Amazing. Awesome. All right. I think we got to everything. Are there any other questions that popped in? Public speaking, training, coaching before 100%. That we have done that. That was from Becca. Becca, if you haven't joined yet as a fertility coach, you should definitely sign up. I'm telling you, Great niche, has worked incredibly well so far. Um, really strong track record. I would 100% suggest that you do this. So if you want to just do the 500 deposit and then split up, just message me and just I'll know who you are. Just message me and let me know that you want to do the paid in full, but in two different sources, and I'll send you a custom link. Just because I know that this will work incredibly well for your niche. Any other questions? I really appreciate you guys staying the whole time because I said 60 minutes and it's double. It's double that. All right, here's the link one more time. I always have the best intentions of being short and sweet, and then I just get going and my brain can't keep up with where my mouth decides to go. Awesome. Thank you so much. Where in Italy is my favorite? Great question. That's so tough. So first I'll tell you where I've been in Italy. I've been to Rome, Florence, Venice, Positano, Capri, and Lake Como. Most recently, I was in Lake Como. I would still say that Florence is my favorite. And a lot of people hate on Florence for some reason because it's like crowded and all that stuff, but I absolutely loved Florence. I loved all of them. But yeah. Been to Tuscany. I spent a day in Tuscany. The guarantee is on the page. If you go to that page to sign up, it's right on that page as well. Did I enjoy seeing the eclipse? It was actually really tough to see from in Lake Como. There's like giant mountains and stuff, so we had a hard time. We were trying to see, but had a really hard time actually catching a good view. Retiring in Italy, so I need clients. All right, let's go. I love that. I love that goal. Run workshops, get clients, retire in Italy. I think that sounds like an amazing plan. Oh, hot seats. Oh my gosh, I forgot about the other ones. Um, yeah, I've got time. Let's do it. Anybody want to jump on for a hot seat? Thanks for keeping me. Pam, let's go. Sorry. Let's try to be quick here. Let me see if I can get you unmuted. There you go.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, tell me a little bit about what you do, who you help, and all that stuff.
Yes, I do the public speaking, coaching, and training, and I do coaching. What I do is I help corporate leaders, entrepreneurs, consultants deliver clear presentations that connect with their audience and inspire action.
Thank
Okay. So it's broad, but I do one-on-one coaching, and I've mentioned earlier just a couple of those a month because I work full time. And then I have an online course where I take them through all the steps. Basically, what I have is a preparation system
Okay.
that if they would use that, they don't start blank. And it helps them connect with their audience and so forth.
What is the outcome? Are they already giving presentations and they're trying to get better? Are they typically like trying to get booked for more speaking engagement type of things? Like, why do they want to get better at public speaking? What's more of the direct outcome?
Direct outcome is that they're going to okay, let's see. Okay, so they're going to be clear. A lot of times they're stumbling, they don't know where to start, and they're already speaking.
Okay.
They may have been speaking for years. They may be starting over every time they prepare a presentation, or they're not connecting with their audience.
Okay.
They're not getting the results they want. Like if they're trying to drive results or
Yeah.
inspire some action at the end, they're not doing well with that.
What's typically the
So
action that they might be trying to drive at the end, for example?
it's so many different things. So it could be they want to enroll them in their program, their retreat, sell a book, or maybe they're a change management consultant and they want people to be involved in the change that's going on. And so it might be more of a corporate thing.
Okay. Awesome.
So,
And how do you identify them again? You would say for corporate leaders, entrepreneurs.
right. Coaches, entrepreneurs, corporate leaders,
Okay.
mission driven leaders.
Do you have a
To be
name
an
for your, do
activist.
you have a name for
Pardon?
your framework? Like the framework that you take people through, do you have like a name for it?
Yes, it's Speak with Impact.
Okay, amazing. I love that. That's going to be the title. So like speak with impact, colon, the 3-step framework for coaches, corporate leaders, or entrepreneurs to uh, master their presentation. Um, what would they say from
Well,
like,
it's actually in the delivering. So
okay,
to me,
to,
that's the end result is they want to be able to deliver in such a way that they're clear and it's clear to the audience and they're connecting to the audience and they're able to take them to this logical result at the
okay,
end where they're like yeah, they're on board, type of thing.
okay. So to improve the delivery of their presentation, which compels action towards, and I would give some examples like program enrollments, change work, like, kind of like we talked about with Derek,
Okay.
giving some actions or some examples of what action
Specific.
looks like for them. Uh,
Perfect.
that's
Yeah.
kind of the direction that I would go with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Amazing.
Okay.
Super cool. Um, and it looks like you're on board, so we'll map all
I
that
am.
out for you. So
Okay.
we'll refine it,
This
make it look pretty,
this will
and
help me complete the onboarding form.
yeah, yeah, very,
Thank you.
of course. All right, awesome. Does anybody else? It looks like Pam was the only volunteer, so we can skip it. Or Trent, you want to jump on? Let's see if we can get you here. What's up, Trent? Oh, I can't hear you. We got some audio issues. It looks like you're unmuted, but I can't hear anything. All right, let's try Reed. Where are you? There you are.
Yeah. There you go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So,
I'm just waiting for this guy to talk to me.
Go ahead. Tell me about your offer, your
okay.
audience.
The offer is discover what's been holding you back and break it. The workshop is the change you've been avoiding, the one thing you want to change about yourself, and how to change it.
Okay.
The 3 pillars are know what you're really trying to change, understand what's keeping you from changing, and create a different response. It's all about change. Basically, it's about one thing you want to change about yourself, and then you find out that there's a lot of other things
Yeah.
that may not be that one thing you want to change.
For who? Who are we talking to?
Just really, you can find, mothers, single mothers, you could, retirees, people who are going, getting ready to retire. I work in recovery, addiction recovery. So I kind of base what I teach on my book called The 12, called Breaking the Chains That Bind Us.
Mhm.
It's kind of based on the 12 steps.
Okay.
And, it takes people through that, basically looking at their own lives.
Okay. And what would be after they kind of discover the thing that they want to change? What would be the outcome after they've gone through your steps?
Outcome is being able to, live in life and not react to life. Be able to, how would I put that? That's a good question. Outcome, I'll just be more at peace, with themselves, not try to control life, but be able to live life.
Yeah.
Okay. That sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. So be more taking control of your life, not being reactionary to it. And would you say like having more fulfillment and purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I would recommend sticking with a specific niche because the change work is pretty broad. So it's kind of like very
Right.
abstract concept when we get into like more personal development. it helps to be speaking to a specific demographic of, say, retirees or single moms, but I would call it out and you could do multiple and test, like, we're going to do a workshop this month for retirees and see how that performs. Then we're going to try to target for more single moms, but I would try to niche down more specifically because your topic is a little bit more abstract. I would at least try to get specific on who we're talking to. And then I would do that, like, 3-step, 3 secrets for retirees to identify the change they need to make in order to, feel more aligned with the life they're living to,
Let me ask you this. I do work with family members dealing with addiction in their own families. Would that be something, a niche that would be big enough to
absolutely.
be yeah, so that because that's kind of one thing I do. As a minister, I'm a minister as well, but I do helping families cope with their addicted loved ones and
Right.
take their lives back.
That
So
I think would be a very strong workshop angle and way more specific for sure.
yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah.
floating out with a lot of generalities.
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
get
Yeah, I
with
think that
them. Yeah.
that would be great on, like, how to take control of your own life with the family member who has, addiction, how to cope,
Yeah.
how to take control of your own life. That sort of thing would be really powerful for sure.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't want to go to the groups, Al-Anon, things of that sort, and they
Yeah.
just, okay,
Yeah.
okay, great.
Yeah. I think that one would work really well. And you can even like, you can say the things like, even if group therapy or family therapy hasn't worked, you can use that in your title as some of the things, like, um, as part of, like, the end piece of the title, even if group therapy or family therapy hasn't produced the results you want.
Yeah, okay, all right. Very good. Well, I signed up today, but I'm still having issues with my Meta account, so I'm trying to get some things worked out
Yeah,
with them.
we can help if you have that stuff, we can always help you get that all sorted.
Oh, can you? Yeah, I got hacked.
Yeah.
I was running some test ads just for my book. And then the next thing I knew it was hacked. I was restricted. And then, it was like in a 3-month ordeal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
We'll
almost got
help.
it straightened out. But anyway, yeah, I'll let you go, but I
All
appreciate
right.
that.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. Appreciate the comment, Steven. All right. This was awesome. Any other final questions before we jump off? Nancy, did you have a question? Nope. Sorry. Can you unmute? There we go.
There we go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I'm just trying to figure out whether what I have to offer would be enough of a ticket. My in-house live work that I do with clients is about $2,000.
Okay.
But online, I don't think that's going to fly. I've got a book that I've written that I'd like to market. And again, that's on Amazon for like $15. So, and it's called Puppy Who is Short, Don't Drop the Ball.
Okay.
And if I could market that along with whatever other training that I do behavioral work. So I'm just not sure if I have the right thing to package.
Okay. Do you have, well, you said you do 2,000 for in-person work. Do you have an online version of that offer?
Actually, I don't. I did have one on Kajabi,
Mhm.
and I spent about $1,400 just letting that sit on Kajabi for about a year, and I eventually pulled it because I had no way to market it.
Okay. I'm assuming you do one-on-one coaching in person?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you
That's mostly what I do. Yeah, pretty much.
can you do it virtually? One-on-one?
I can. Depends on for what. I'm glad that you asked that because when COVID hit, we all went online.
Yeah.
And I had clients in New York and Montreal and different places, which was great. But I do a lot of energy work with the dogs.
Mhm.
So, and it's more teaching the people how to balance their energy to work with the dogs.
Okay.
So it's hard sometimes when I've got somebody sitting in their living room with a dog that's driving them crazy
Yeah.
and all they want to do is they don't think they can do anything.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where I'm not quite sure if this is a good fit. Plus also, I'm in Canada and the exchange rate is like ridiculous right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I want to make sure this is really worth it.
Yeah. I would, based on that, I think that if you are able to do the one-on-one virtually, kind of like you did before, or even do it as like a beta and do a discounted rate. Just say, I'm gonna take on 5 new clients, kind of as a beta. We're gonna do, say 8 weeks of one-on-one coaching for the behavioral support. So I think your niche is great, and I've worked with other coaches in your niche that have done really well with the workshops. So I think the targeting and the niche would perform really well. It's just a matter of the offer. I
Mhm.
think if you'd be willing to try, like even a discounted version, say 1,500 instead of 2,000,
Mhm.
or I don't know what it's priced out per session and how you do that, but if you'd be willing to try that as your fulfillment process, I think that that would work really well.
Okay, because right now the way I do it in person is people will purchase a package from
Yeah.
me, like a program.
Yeah.
And so I do either 6 or 7 or 8 weeks, whatever it is, based on the package. And I mean, at one point I was maxed out at doing about 120K a year,
Yeah.
just myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is not sustainable doing 5 to 7 clients back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And, I'm at a stage now where it's like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. I think that, is there anything that you can do with them where they don't have to be like in the room with their dog? Is there anything that you can do with just the people first?
It's, I'm not sure. It's like I become sort of a personal therapist to a lot of these people
Yeah.
because they come to me whether it's anxiety or they're nervous or they're anxious or they don't, trust what's going on. And I have to coach them, basically coach them. Like the big thing about being here in person is I take the dog and I just show them how it works and the dogs do it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like I just walk into the room and the dogs are like perfect.
Right.
And they go, "How do you do that?"
Yeah.
And I said, because it's all based on energy and everything we do is backwards to what the dog needs us to do.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of psychology behind what I do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
No,
it's teaching people to build confidence is basically a big, big part of what I do for the people I work for.
yeah. I would try the offer as like 5 spots only, or even you could even do 3, at say like a 6 week package, 1,500. And if you wanted to do, like, I think just as validation that that offer would work and that you can get them the results that they want, and then
Mhm.
you could run it again and open it up more spots. And
How often, I mean, if I had to run that for only 3 spots, then we're only looking at like almost 5 grand, right?
yep, yeah, you could do
And that would be
like,
how often I'd have to run it because right now I'm doing about live, I was managing between 7 and 10 grand a month live.
yeah,
So that's why I'm not sure that this is actually going to be feasible to do or not, because I want to reduce my hours of time, not increase them.
yeah. So what would be the goal for you if you just think about like big picture for your business? What would be the objective for you from a fulfillment
The big
perspective?
picture, probably the big picture would be to um, um, have more passive work in terms of courses and maybe, you know, once a month seminars or whatever, or question and answer periods, that kind of stuff for clientele. I was doing Facebook Lives during COVID.
Yeah.
And those were great. They were fun, but it takes a lot of work to set them up, film them, do it, and talk to everybody at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause that would be the other thing would be if there's stuff that you can, which is why I asked if there's stuff that you could teach that's more of like a group program that they're going through at a certain cadence with you, that you can have multiple people going through it. And that way it's not just trading one-on-one time.
Okay, I see what you
Have,
mean. Yeah.
let's say, 50 people in a group, and it's more group based and you're able to
Yeah.
teach them the things.
That would make more sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Exactly.
would make more sense. I just don't know if, again, that's going to be feasible because everyone's problems are going to be different.
Yeah.
So I might end up doing a 4-hour course. You know what I mean? Kind of like what's happened with you today.
Yeah. I mean, it comes back to a lot of the same principles, though, even though there's individual variance with
Yeah.
anything. But it's going to come back to a lot of the same principles, I'm assuming. And then, you can always say for somebody where it gets to a place where, they have one-on-one problems that need one-on-one solution, then you can recommend, that would be another way of filling your one-on-one spot. So you always stay with the exact number of clients you want each month,
Hmm.
but you have another option that's not
Right.
so time intensive.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just still a little confused still. I'm gonna have to think about all of it because I just don't know if I had higher ticket offers for everything, it would be easy to do what I do online that I do in person. But everything I do online in the book and everything else is to make it feasible for a larger number of people to
Yeah.
get involved as opposed to higher ticket and less people.
Yeah. Yeah. I would consider more of a group evergreen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Just something to consider.
And because I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly, that, I mean, I don't want to do something where, like, again, if it's 2,500 to get you guys to start doing something,
Yeah.
and I'm going to make this up. I only have like a, $300 offer or whatever. And then at the end, don't forget I'm in Canadian dollars, not US dollars. So you can double everything
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. We want to make sure the math works. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'll have to play around with first.
Yeah. Yeah. I would just take a look at that and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just appreciating your honesty and your,
Of course.
and your whether or not you think you could do it
Yeah.
is what I.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That makes sense. I would just, it would have to be the right offer to make the numbers work.
okay. Do you think it's feasible?
I do. I think having like a group program for what you do, I think would be a kind of the immediate solution that I would consider because again, it's kind of like what I deal with a lot of personal trainers. Like I can only have so many people on the gym floor at a time.
Right.
If they can do a group and get 30 people on, at once, then now all of a sudden they can earn more per hour as kind of
Yep.
the first step to increasing their capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you were doing a group thing, how would you market it for people to sign up for it to make sure that you get, say, 10, 20 people on the group or whatever? Like, I'm not sure
Yeah, I
because
would.
the individual ones are easy, right? They sign up or they don't.
Yeah, I would do it the same way as we do with all the workshops, where you have the call to action at the end. They schedule a call with you. You let them know that it's a group program, that it runs for X amount of weeks, that we have X amount of calls per week, and by the end they get XYZ outcome. At the end of the day, people just want the outcome. So
Mhm.
if that's the method that it's delivered, it's a group program, let's say for 8 weeks, and you do one call a week, and then they can watch the recording if they don't make it live, and then that would be your structure. Then that's how you would fill it. And we would just use that as the offer on the workshop.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think of, or we're gonna have to coordinate on what the offer would be that would make that feasible. That's all I'm thinking about right now. Is it, because I know it's gonna be tight.
Yeah, I would say something like, hey, we can do 15 people in a group. That's $1,000 for the group. You fill 10 to 15 spots, you've got 10 to 15K, which would make it feasible for
But how many times would you have to run that?
ideally just once to fill the.
Oh, okay, wait, then I'm not doing the math you're doing right now. Um, Back up for a second, because when you say if it's how much per person per class,
I would
like
say
for
let's say
program?
an 8-week group and you did
Yeah.
1K, 1K per person.
Okay.
And
I think that might be high for online though, for what I do.
I think you'd be surprised. I think that for what, people will invest a lot in getting the help that they need for their pets in particular. Pets and babies, people will pay for.
I know they do.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you'd be doing like $1,000 a sign up
Yep.
for a group of 15.
Yeah. Say 10 to 15 cap. And yeah, if we could get 40 people live on your workshop, which
Mm-hmm.
would only take about 150 people to sign up for your workshop, which would be very feasible. I think cost per lead would be low. I think you could easily get 10 people into that group.
Okay. Because that would be what I typically do a month live here.
Yeah.
So
That would be
maybe
nice.
it is,
Yeah.
maybe it's not. I don't know. I got to figure it out, but I'd really like to do it. I like what you offer.
Yeah.
And, I've gone through a lot of different things that I have spent a lot of money on over the years of the 12 years.
Yeah.
And, it hasn't panned out to what I was hoping it would be.
Yeah.
So I kind of stopped doing that.
I mean, yeah.
And I just I just kind of got busy and kind of did the old fashioned stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I
Yeah.
think you have a lot to offer. You have a great niche, and the work that you're doing is important. I think you would be surprised about how many people are willing to spend 1K to get that type of help in a group program to show up with
Well,
you.
I definitely have enough material and stuff. That's fine. And all the questions of, the solving a problem and whatever, been through all that coaching and all that stuff. So I know you got to have something that's basically you do this so that something else happens.
Yeah. And I'm sure you have all the testimonials and social proof as well.
Okay. So, um, there was one more thing I was going to ask you. What was it? No, I mean, the work I do is kind of like, you know who Cesar Millan is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's on my website.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I love it.
So I've done stuff with him in the past, and I've done stuff with people all over the world. So I have a
Yeah.
style that's sort of a mixture of everybody, but I kind of do what he does when you look at it from the point of view of who's looking for that type of help. That's the
Yeah.
kind of work I do.
Okay, amazing. And I think also you'd really expand your reach by doing it this way because you're not going to be limited to just your local area.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
I think we could definitely make it work.
all right, well, let me figure out what the exchange rate is
Okay.
because it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
It's going to be right now, the exchange rate from Canada to the US is at least 45, like almost like 45%.
Yeah.
It's mental.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I
So
have a
let
lot of
me,
Canadian clients. Yeah.
what?
I have a lot of clients in Canada.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So let me, do the numbers
Yeah, for sure.
and I would really love to give this a chance.
Yeah, let's do it. I think we can definitely make it work. Yeah, look over the numbers and then we can get things rolling.
Okay. I will.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it. All right.
Thanks for the time, Mike.
Of course.
Okay. Take care.
Right. So yeah, we are about 2.5 hours in. Any final questions? It's fine. I'm laughing because I said 60 minutes. Any other questions? All right. Well, you guys are the real superstars for hanging out with me for this long on a Saturday. I really appreciate it. I know there's a lot of places that you can be right now. So I do not take it lightly that you spent so much time here. Hopefully, this was worth it and helpful. And for a lot of you, I look forward to working together. It's going to be a lot of fun and really valuable. And the link to sign up one last time here. Let me grab that for you. We've got this link here, and do not forget the promo code. It is case sensitive. It is only on the paid in full option. So if you want to jump in, you can grab that link and that promo code. And if you guys have questions after the fact, you can always message me, email me directly. I'm happy to answer anything that you have. And enjoy the rest of the weekend. I will send out a replay as well, so you will get access to that if you want to watch this again. But take care, have the best day, and we will talk soon. See you, everyone.